Thanks. Okay, well, we will get started. We'd like to welcome Stephan Jaeger here to our virtual media room at the Fortinet Championship, our season opener on the PJ Tour. Stephan, so you've got a little piece of hardware next to you after finishing first on the Korn Ferry Tour combined season points list. Congratulations on a great Korn Ferry Tour season. As you get started for your first PJ Tour event of your third year on the PJ Tour, just how do you recap the last season on the Korn Ferry Tour, the last 2 years? 6 total wins now on that tour.
Yeah, obviously it was a mega season for us. It was spanning over 2 years, and I think I've played close to 40 events over those 2 years, with a big break in the middle. So I've said it before. It just kind of shows how consistent I was over the 40 events I've played. I used to be kind of the opposite. I'd get hot and I would win a golf tournament, and this year or this season was kind of showed me that I can consistently play and give myself a chance on Sundays is pretty much all you want. So it's been a great ride, but I was ready to kind of get the next step and start the season off, and I'm so excited about all these events. I've obviously played a lot of them, and I'm excited to play this year and compete out here.
How do you describe the class that is coming into the tour this year? Just everything you guys have gone through in the last 2 years. A lot of multiple winners out there. Mito getting the 3 win, but a lot of talent coming out of these last 2 years on the Korn Ferry Tour.
Yeah, I think over the last several years, I think you can see that the talent that's come and graduated to the PGA Tour from the web.com and now the Korn Ferry Tour has done well. They've had some wins, and it just kind of shows that they're doing a good job with tournaments and golf courses and how the tour is running. So if you have that many events, you're going to get a couple multiple win guys, and obviously Mito got the 3rd win in Greenville. So heck of a season for him as well. Will, he kind of left us early, so he was like, I'm too good with these guys. Let me go ahead and finish second at the Masters. So I think people forget about him in this. I guess he's still, I don't even know what he finished. I think he finished like 10th or 11th on the money list, with not playing half of the year. So that's pretty impressive. So every year you kind of see and see who's going to do well, or you just never know because there's so much talent from this tour.
As you embark on your 3rd season on the PGA Tour, where do you describe yourself as a player, the experience that you're bringing in this season versus some of the other years on the PGA Tour?
Yeah, I was looking back at it a couple of weeks ago when kind of my season ended, and I felt a lot more comfortable in a way. It's always kind of been a big thing for me. It's always taken me a couple of years to get acclimatized on golf courses and how everything works, and it's obviously a little bit bigger stage here than it is on the Korn Ferry. So I go back to my game being so consistent over such a long period of time. I feel like I have given myself a lot more chances to do well on the weekend here, and be in the hunt on Sunday, because I know how hard it is to win out here, and I know there's guys out here that have been here for 20 plus years that there are for a reason. So I'm excited for the opportunity. I'm excited to be back out here again and do the best with what I got.
Great. Last one from me before we open up questions. There's been a lot of references of the Baylor School this last year between you on the Korn Ferry Tour, Harris English, and Keith Mitchell. What do you attribute that success to? Some of the alumni coming out of the Baylor School in Chattanooga. Yeah,
go Big Red, I guess. But no, we had a great coach, King Emick. He passed away a couple of years ago, but he was, as a golf coach, I don't know how technically sound he was. He was a great motivator, and he just kind of knew how to make his guys better, and a little bit of luck to getting some good guys to get better over the 3 or 4 years you're in high school. So It's kind of impressive. Don't forget Luke. Luke List was not on our team, but he also played at Baylor a couple of years before I got there. So we've got a great tradition down there. They do a great job. The school is incredible, and just to see how many guys from the same team made it on the PGA Tour is pretty impressive. So I'm happy to be representing them. And it's still I'm still in Chattanooga. I get Go Big Red all the time, so I'm still kind of repping that in my mind for sure.
All right, great. Thank you. We will open up some questions. We're going to start first with Cameron Morfit from PGAtour.com. Cameron, go ahead.
Hi, Stephen.
Hey.
Just was wondering, it is a big jump to go to the PGA Tour, and in some respects it's very different, but in some respects it's very much the same.
Mm-hmm.
You're seeing a lot of familiar faces, especially this week. To what extent for you is it physical in terms of I have to do this and this and this better, and to what extent is it mental and just believing, hey, look, I won on the Corn Ferry Tour, I can win here. So Emiliano Rio did it. He came right on this tour after winning on that tour and won. To what extent is it mental?
I think it's 50-50. I think you've got to believe in your ability and believe in what you're doing. And I've talked a lot about this year. I've kind of stuck to what I'm doing preparation-wise, because that's all you can do. You can only prepare as well as you have in the past, and then play with what you got. You're not gonna have your best stuff every week. That's just not how it works. It's golf. It's a tough sport, and some weeks you just don't feel right or something's off. So I've been really adamant about doing the same stuff every week. Over the last 2 years, this week, you kind of want to be. You want to be on the golf course all the time and grind, but you gotta kind of rest every once in a while as well, because you do have the mental pressure is there. So I think it's a bit of both. I think the physical ability to play doesn't really change. I think you've got to be a little smarter on maybe course management, just because of the tour kind of penalizes you a little more than some other tournaments that we've played this year on the Corn Ferry. So that's also mental part. So I would say it's 50-50.
Is that kind of what you had to learn, that really, really long season that you mentioned, that hey, it's okay, I just got to stick to my process, I'm okay as I am, I don't have to fly out the handle and do anything crazy? Yeah,
it just kind of teaches you that's you can prepare as well as you want. Some weeks there's just something that's off, and that's okay. It's not a big deal. It's not the end of the world. So I've really learned from that, and that's one of my big goals this year is to stick to my routine, pre-tournament, in tournament. Just kind of do your stuff, and I think the first couple of years I was out on this tour, it's tough because we've been watching these guys for so many years, and we're like, hey, he's doing this, well, let's try that, and instead of hey, it might not be what other guys do, but this is what makes me work, makes me tick, and I've really learned that over that big 2-year season for sure.
Right, it's a big thing to learn. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Cam. We're going to go to Adam Schupak with Golf Week next. Adam, go ahead.
Thanks. You mentioned being more comfortable now. How so?
It was funny because I remember a press conference a couple years ago, my first year on tour, and I said I would like to be a little more consistent. Consistently get chances to win on the weekend, even on the Corn Ferry back then, and I feel like that's really I stepped up my game in that sense too. Getting up there on the weekend and getting a chance to maybe get hot on the 9 holes and win the golf tournament. And I've done that a lot over the last, I guess, year. And that's given me a lot of confidence and being like, hey, I can do this out here. It's nothing special. I haven't done, I haven't putted lights out for a year. You can do that for a month or two, but eventually it's going to fall back to just you being consistently a better golfer than you were 3 or 4 years ago, for sure.
Okay, and how did you handle being demoted back down to the Korn Ferry Tour in the past?
You know, it is what it is. You know, I mean, you know, we strive to be the best us that we can be, and you know, obviously there was a reason I was kind of, you know, had to go back down and learn more things about my golf game, more things about me. It's tough because you know you get compared to these guys that are world beaters that come out and win golf tournaments out here, and a lot of the times most of the PGA Tour is not consist on those handful of guys that are just better than everybody on a consistent basis. So you know, it's a journey for me. Like I said, I can't wait to compete this year and play against the best players in the world, and you know, the plan is to be up there on the weekend and have a chance on Sundays and see what I can do.
To those unfamiliar with your journey, how do you describe your game? Are you a bomber, a great putter? What stands out, has gotten you to this point?
Yeah, I would think you know, my strengths are probably putting and chipping, but my iron play has really dramatically improved over, you know, the course of the last 2 or 3 years. And I think one of the things I can always get better at is driving. Driving the golf ball is probably my weakest part of my game. But, you know, some weeks it's great and some weeks it's not so good. So, like I said before, it's just part of the game. Some weeks you just don't feel comfortable on the golf course, and some weeks you're like, hey, I can play this golf course every day of the week. So we're going to keep working on stuff and keep doing my drills and doing the stuff I do to get better in the long run, for sure.
I know you're originally from Germany. How did your family wind up in Chattanooga, and what number did you play on that team?
Yeah, they didn't actually. They're still in Germany. All my family is still back just outside of Munich, and you know, I think they've gotten used to me being gone for most of the year. It's been a little tougher the last 2 years to see them, and with all the travel restrictions and everything, and I think hopefully we open up soon that they can come over and watch a couple tournaments, maybe in the West Coast or whatever. So, and I think I played 2 or 3. I think my first year, and I remember 1 or 2 my senior year in high school, which Harris was gone at that point, and so we were pretty deep, even though, you know, it was Keith and I that are on tour now. I think 3 or 4 other guys went to Division I colleges. So we had, for a high school team, we had a pretty stout lineup.
How did they find you, or how did you find
Yeah, you know, there was an organization I worked with. A lot of Europeans do this, you know, 1-year exchange year, and there's an organization in Germany that helps German students find their schools. And, you know, if you're, you know, an athlete, they're looking, hey, I'm a great runner. Give me all the good running schools in a way. So for me, it was golf. So it was between a couple of schools. One was actually at Pebble Beach at Stevenson, and then IMG was the other one, and then Baylor. And I never visited any of them. I just kind of, you know, we heard about Harris being obviously one of the better amateurs or better high school players in the country, and we just went for it. It was supposed to be 1 year, and I guess 15 years later, I'm still here and live in Chattanooga full time and married to a girl from Chattanooga. So it's my second home for sure now.
Cool, thanks.
Yep, thank you.
And last question we have for you, it may be the start of your 3rd season on the PGA Tour, but your dog, Phil,
Yeah.
is he a rookie out here on the PGA Tour this year?
He is. Yeah, I haven't gotten him a credential. I need to get him one of those. Hopefully, he can come out on Sundays when we do playing good. So.
Excellent. Well, we look forward to seeing you both this week. Thank you so much for your time today, Stephen. Best of luck this week.
Thank you so much.